Now, for more on the story, we're joined by our Asia One correspondent, Yusef Jalali, live from Mashhad. So, Yusuf, now, what are the latest about the visit of Field Marshal Asim Munir to Tehran, and who is he expected to talk to during his visit?
Well, of course, Mr. Munir arrived in Tehran a few hours ago in the morning. And of course, he was received and welcomed by Iranian Interior Minister Iskandar Momeni. And upon his arrival, Iskandar Momeni thanked the Pakistani side for their mediation efforts at this very critical time when there's no talks and no peace, no talks, no peace, and no war, of course. This is the stalemate that is existing between Iran and the United States, and Pakistan here is Pakistani efforts here are very much valuable in the eyes of the Iranian officials. Of course, he's expected to visit senior Iranian officials and hold talks with them, including Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, and of course the Interior Minister Iskandar Momeni's definitely scheduled to meet with him and hold some discussions about the stalled MOU, the Pakistani mediated MOU that was signed back in June between Iran and the United States, and now is in limbo following what Iran calls violation of some of the terms of the agreement on the part of the United States. So this is a very critical moment now, and this visit comes as Iran is sticking to its positions regarding the MOU. Iran is now asking the United States to fulfill its own promises under that deal signed in Pakistan back in June. And of course, the two sides are now in this ongoing stalemate, the deadlock. And one of the reasons why Mr. Munir is in Tehran is to break this deadlock and to just keep the diplomatic channels open.
So, Yusuf, Pakistan says the visit is aimed at promoting a peaceful and lasting resolution to the current conflict in the Middle East. What specific diplomatic efforts are being discussed in Tehran?
Well, of course, Iran is very much appreciative of how Pakistan is seriously pursuing this diplomatic push to try to settle a peaceful arrangement or a diplomatic arrangement between Iran and the United States. Of course, when it comes to what exactly the two sides are going to discuss today, Munir, of course, Mr. Munir and Iranian officials, there are some reports on the Iranian media suggesting that Mr. Munir is expected to hold talks with the Iranian side about mutual cooperation regarding the settlement of peace in the region, and of course, to just strengthen and bolster bilateral ties between the two sides. But of course, there are also reports suggesting that Mr. Munir is carrying a message from the United States. And there are unofficial reports from Iran suggesting that Iran is also expected to deliver a message to the United States through Pakistan. So these are not confirmed officially by Iranian officials. But of course, given the timing of the visit, a few days have passed since the MOU expired after 60 days with no significant breakthrough out of that MOU. So it suggests that the visit is actually aimed at bringing about a diplomatic solution to this crisis. And as Pakistani sources also told Reuters, we heard Reuters reporting or citing informed Pakistani sources that Munir is also going to discuss the Houthi or the Ansarullah movement attacks on Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is an ally of Pakistan. And also this is one of the topics that is expected to be discussed today.
So, Yusuf, what would be considered a concrete outcome from the visit of Field Marshal Asim Munir to Tehran?
Of course, Iran has already set its own terms and conditions or position in any potential return to the negotiating table with the United States. Iran has already said that and made it clear any diplomatic arrangement or any diplomatic solution to this crisis has to see the United States showing its seriousness in any talks with Iran. And that means the United States has to lift the sanctions. Sanctions is the naval blockade. It has imposed on Iran's ports, which has already played its impact or shown its impact on the Iranian economy by raising or pushing the dollar up significantly. And of course, it has Iran has set its own terms saying that the United States needs to end hostilities on all fronts, not just on Iran, but also on other Iranian-backed groups in the region, including Yemen's Houthis, the Ansar Allah movement in Yemen, and of course, Hashd al-Shabi, or the Popular Mobilization Forces in Iraq, and the Hezbollah in Lebanon. So if the United States meets these demands, the Iranian demands, then we can expect the two sides to come back to the negotiating table. And it is most likely, this is a demand that is most likely going to be conveyed by the Pakistani official here in Iran, from Iran to the United States.
So, Yusuf, are there expectations of further talks or follow-up diplomatic initiative?
Of course, not just Pakistan, but other countries like Egypt, or we can see that Oman, or even Qatar. These are the countries, Pakistan, these are the countries which have played a significant role in trying to bring about a diplomatic solution to this standoff. But of course, it is Iran that is insisting on its own demands being met by the United States. And so far, Iran is saying that it is holding the Strait of Hormuz. It is maintaining its authority and control over the Strait of Hormuz. And this is something that needs to be acknowledged by the American side. So Iranian officials are basically saying that the United States needs to understand that the Strait of Hormuz is an Iranian territory, not just Iranian territory, but also it's Omani territory as well. And these two countries are responsible for ensuring the safety of shipment through the Strait of Hormuz. And this is one of the demands by Iran. Iran is insisting that the United States has to understand that this and acknowledge Iran's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. And the second most important thing is that the United States needs to de-escalate by lifting the sanctions, not increasing the economic pressure on Iran. And what we're seeing coming from the United States is very negative signals, including the imposition of more and more sanctions against Iran, against Iran's banking system, against Iran's oil exports. And this is nothing. This shows that the United States is not doing anything to try to persuade Iran or convince Iran that it is reliable in any forthcoming negotiations.
Yusef Jalali, thank you so much.